All right, so we're going to talk about templates. It's basically a way to make your setup quicker when you get going. It's a pre-made session for your DAW, and they have templates for Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton Live, all of them. Inside of a template can be anything: audio, plugins, aux tracks, MIDI tracks, instruments, I/O settings, all that stuff. So let me just show you here. I'm going to go ahead and close this session out. Let's save it. Yes, make a new session. And since since I know I'm going to be making a template, I'm going to call this one just house beat. Wave 44.1, 24-bit last used. Let's use stereo mix, interleaved. Yes, good. Location. Yes, excellent. All right, cool. So we got that. And in here, I'm going to make a few tracks. Let's make some instrument tracks. What time are we going to Zoom? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I think probably a little bit earlier than later, but I don't have the exact answer for you, Staffo. All right, so let's make 10 instrument tracks. Oh wait, whoops, wrong. All right, hold on, let me delete those. 10 stereo instrument tracks. So I got these here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put boom on them. And this, James, you were asking about this the other day, you know, about setting up tracks ahead of time. And so this first time we're going to do this, yeah, it's going to take us a little bit to do this, but let me go ahead and get this fat 8 on here, boom. And I'm going to name this one bass drum 1. Let's name the second one bass drum 2. Drag this over. And this one here will be 909. Let's make it a retro. Let's see. Yeah, cool. That's that one. Awesome. I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to drag the 808 kit over here. And let's make a hand clap. Hand clap 1. And let's make a hand clap 2. Make a snare drum 1. This one here. So I'm going to click on this one here. So we have this. Take the decay. Hand clap 1, and then let's do a hand clap 2. Change the kit up for this. Let's see what this one sounds like. Yeah, I like that. Cool. And let's get over here to our snare drum, and I'm going to just set this up. Oh, can I? Ban. Get out of here. All right, there we go. Sorry if anybody wanted to become Insta famous. Let's see, I'm just going to see what these different ones sound like here. I kind of like that one. Take the decay down. Let's get a couple of hi-hats going on here. And I'm just going to set this up so we don't have to do this every single time. I don't love that hi-hat. That's all right. Awesome. Turn the level up. I can always turn it down more later. I'm going to call this enclosed hi-hat 1 and drag it across. I'm going to make this one here. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's my closed hi-hat too. And as you can see, this takes a little bit of time. Let's get a rim shot going on. Let's see, what is the... no. I like that. Awesome. And get a couple percussion sounds. Why do they think that's a good sound? Why? All right, let's use that one. The reason I'm going to use that one is because I'm going to tailor it a little bit. This is my rim shot, and this is my zap perk. And then finally, let's go over to here. There's some weird dried stuff on my keyboard. I wonder if it's cat vomit. Awesome. Let's go into here and see what else we got. Hold on a second, let's just see what we got over here. Anything good? All right, we'll just use that sound, but I'll just decay it. Awesome. Okay, so we got our sounds here. Now, what I'm going to do is just give that a name, short perk. And in here, I'm going to cut out the low end. So now I can go through and I can actually put any kind of EQs and stuff like that on here that I want. Awesome. So now we have all our different sounds. Whatever one I want to play, I can just go in here and play it. Now, obviously I have to play the right note because otherwise it's not really gonna make a whole lot of sense, but there we go. And I could put the note in here. I could put like the note name if I wanted to. Big drum 1 is C1. Like that, C1. And then this would be C1 as well. Go through and just do this stuff real quick. What's that D sharp one? So I'm not going to do everything, but you could see you could put the note in that you're supposed to play or whatever, because with this one here, using boom on every single track, it's not the same as just using individual samples. So QWERTY keyboard for typing notes in Pro Tools. No, there's not, T. Not an easy one anyway. I think there's like a weird hack that you can do. I think I've done it before in the past, and it was like you have to set something up and then you have to like run it through the IAC thing. And actually, and that's only Mac. There might be for Windows. There might be a way to do it on Windows. But oh, Joe's famous. Nice. Oh, it's good knowing you, Joe. It's good knowing you. All right. So, but yeah, Tony. I don't know if like, are you on Windows or Mac? There is a Mac solution. It's really convoluted. My advice is go buy a keyboard. And get one for like, you can get a Korg one for $50, or you can get an Akai or something else for like 100. They're really cheap. All right, no, there's not one. T says there's not one. Yeah, so Pro Tools is weird like that. All right, so here's our drums, and of course I'm going to go ahead and set these up as a subgroup. Let's get an aux channel here, aux input, boom, call this one drum group. Send all these over to my drum group. Boom. And I'm going to put a, we were showing about this yesterday. Let's put the OTT plugin on there again. Was that something, where was that? OTT. Yeah, there we go. There's that there. And we can adjust the depth here a little bit. Let's just see what that sounds like. Yeah, cool. All right, there we go. So we got that there. And that plugin is great. Yep, it's free. Let's put a bass in here as well. For bass sounds, we will use, let's go back and use that same one we were doing the other day. The towel, where are you, towel? Togo audio line, the noisemaker. Turn this down a little bit. I'm gonna just put this. And I'm going to change the sound. Go in here. Let's go ahead and make a kind of a... All right, let's do this. Let's change the sound a little bit here like this. Cool. Lift this up a little bit. Put that there. Bring this one. Change this to the pulse wave. Cool. And now what we're going to do is pull the filter down. And then the contour. Pull that down as well. Give a little pop on the beginning. Awesome, sounding good. You talking about this synth here, Staffo, or are you talking about the other one? All right, so we got this. Let's see what the ring modulator, just a little bit of ring modulator in there. Cool. All right, so we got this now. This is okay sounding. Let's pull it back up here. What is up, Amir? How you doing, man? And then Cozy Boy Caden says, "How you doing that?" We're gonna learn about this, but I'm playing it with. I mean, right now I'm playing it with my keyboard here. I got my keyboard here on the side. But all right, so we got the sound here. The board I'm using. You mean the plugin? This one here is Towel. You have to download it. Just do a Google search for Towel plugins. T-A-L, Towel. Okay, so now we're gonna put a compressor on here, a little bit of compressor, and I'll use the BF76 here. Cool. Nice. That's the wrong direction. This one that I'm messing with is, I think it's free as well. I didn't pay for it. Cool. So I got this here, and let's put a little fuzz on it as well, a little distortion on it. Okay, so I can use my Sound Toys plugins today. So I want to show you something here. Sound Toys. So I sent you emails yesterday about this stuff. Definitely, if you can afford it, get the Sound Toys. It's $217 right now, and it's well worth the price. Let's go ahead and there you go. There we go. Cool. Nice. Let's try. Yeah, that one sounds cool. Sound Toys goated. 100% yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit here. Cool. So you can hear. Nice. So I got that sound there, and let's do one more. Let's throw in a couple of loops in here real quick, and we're gonna go to my Oliver. I just created a bass. Yup. And let's go in here to sample libraries. And let's go to sample phonics. Synaptic journeys, loops. Let's get a couple of vocal loops. Let's see. Very agreeable vocal chops. Oops. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these very agreeable vocal chops into here, and let's just listen to these real quick. Okay, yeah, we'll use that. Sure, why not? Actually, no, we're not going to use that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go there with that. Oops, no. Let's remove from the session. Let's go back and use some percussion, some drum stuff. Space raise top, hat shaker, ready hi-hats, trap hats. There we go, crunk hi-hats. All right, cool. All right, so if we're gonna make this into like a trappy type of beat, here we go. There's that, and let's make a stereo audio track for our percussion, our hi-hats. And we're going to go over here to trap hats. And cool. All right. I need a click track. All right, there's my click track. Move that up to the top up here. Cool, let's go down here and record a bass, shall we? All right, so we're gonna do this. Let's double this up here. Let's record in. Can we record in our MIDI? No? Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me just turn that off. Turn this on. Remember our MIDI recording, our loop overdub. There we go. Cool. And let's turn that off. Cool. All right, we're gonna go ahead and apply. I'm gonna flip these. Cool. Now we got all these drums and stuff in here, right? We did these. Cool. Now I'm going to use my, remember yesterday we talked about input quantize, right? There's my input quantize. Let's set that to the 8th note here. Boom. Put this down here. Drag this over here. Oops. Why did you stop looping? Cool. Okay, so we got this here. Let's put the snare drum in there. Cool. Cool. All right, gonna add this rim shot in. We're getting to the end here. Put this in, just a little sprinkle of this. Cool. There we go. Awesome. And you can hear how everything went in smooth because it's all quantized, you know. Now what I'm going to do on here, on this bass, we'll call this one deep bass. Let's put a filter on here. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to balance this out. So we want the kick drum to compress. We want to sidechain compress. So we're going to go over here. We're going to get our dynamics, sidechain compression, boop. Get our compressor here. We're going to get the kick drums over here. We got these two kick. I'm only using the one kick drum right now, but I'm going to keep the other one in there just for whatever. But for these kick drums here, we're going to use the send down here, send it to bus 1. Any bus is fine. Send that over here, boom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my input here from this one here, key input is bus number 1. So turn that on. This is really important because if you forget to do this, nothing's going to happen with it. The melody, I'm not going to put a melody. We're not going to get there. Cool. Nice. Cool, so put a couple of these, sprinkle them around. Actually, you know what I want to do with this one here? I'm going to use the Sound Toys Micro Shift. Where? Oh yeah, cool. Okay. All right, so we got these sounds going on in here. Sounds pretty good, whatever, cool. So I made this beat. It's not a house beat at all. It's a trap beat. So let's do a save as. Save as trap beat. And let's say, you know what? I want to use this. I want to use this for another trap track. I want to use it for another track. This is like a good, some cool sounds, at least to get started, right? And I want to use these sounds for other stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save this as a template. So I'm going to go to File, Save as Template. It's this easy. Boom. Now, in here, where do I want to save it? Category, my Tony folder, Tony templates folder, trap, template, 1, whatever. And then select location for the template. I'm just going to leave it wherever it goes. Now, here's include media. Now, including the media means that it would include all the stuff I just recorded. I don't need to include that media. So I'm not going to include the media. So I'm going to not check the box. I'm going to hit OK, and now I just saved it. Now, here's the thing is that templates, you cannot overwrite them. You can't, like when you open it up, it opens up as a fresh session, but just with all that stuff in it. So if I make a new session here, new track, I'm going to go to Create from Template, my Tony Templates, Trap Template 1, click on that, make sure everything else is here is cool. Give it a name. Trap beat 2, whatever. Hit go. Do I want to save it? No, because I've been saving it, so don't need to worry about saving it again. And now it's going to restore all these tracks with all the settings and everything that I've just done without any of the data that's in here. No, none of that MIDI data is going to be in here. And that's what templates are good for. So now all that stuff we did in the beginning that took forever to do, it took me a good 20 minutes to set all that stuff up. I can think that you can agree that it was worth taking the time to do it. But Now, we don't need to do that every single time. If I've got some, like a bass sound that I made, like you just saw me make that bass sound, I add some effects and stuff to it. Now, if I just want to use that bass sound for something in the future, there it is, and it's got all the plugins on it. Got everything on it that I need. It's good to go. So that's what's up with that. That's templates. All right, cool. Now let's go into one more thing in here. This is actually, let's see, is this in the notes? Creating a blank template, all the stuff. It's all here in the notes that I just when do we want to create templates? Multiple sessions with the same musicians. If I have the same musicians coming in, I can set up all this stuff to record, all the tracks to record. For drums, it's really good for drums, track inputs, subgroup routing, plugins on tracks, genre-specific productions, utility tasks, creating samples, DJ mix. The one I just did was a genre-specific production. Creating a template, open a blank session, add the tracks you want to use, add the instruments, add the effects, set up the routing, whatever you want to do, save as a template. Super easy. All right, so here we have this effect chain. Yep, cool. So we want to save this. So here we've got my bass sound that we just made. Let me open it up in this window here. We've got this bass sound. Whoops, I don't need to play anything. And it sounds good. I like this sound. It's a cool sound. Like, it's a nice deep bass sound. So bass deep. So what I can do if I want to save this is I can right click on it and go to Save Track Preset. And it's going to automatically populate with a bunch of tags. And I'm going to put it in the category will be Tony Presets. Include audio and MIDI clips. No, do not include the audio and MIDI clips. Probably. And then you can click on this one here, Track Data to Recall. Now, I don't want to recall all this stuff, so I have some settings already set up. By default, it's just going to have everything set. But if you go in here and you turn off some of them, you can turn off a bunch of them, and you can save it into a different number here. And so this here is just the plugins, assignments, and the plugin settings and automation. I could also have it set the track active state, the comments, and the colors, which is not bad. The way you can save different ones here is if you hold down Command and click the number, it double flashes, and that means it's saved. So if I go over here, number 1, it looks like that. My number 2 looks like this. My number 3 looks like this. 4 is back to the beginning, and 5 is like this here. So if I want to save that as number that, right? So that's how that works. So that's what you can do. You can go through, and all you have to do is do it once, and then just remember or just put it on a number. Just make sure you save number 1 as your default state, or one of them as your default state. And I would recommend you don't need to save any of this stuff over here. You don't need to do all this. I guess if you want to export it to a different computer, you need to do all this stuff, but not something that I usually do because it's easy enough just to redo this stuff here. So I said, okay, boom, I'm going to recall that. I hit OK. Now, if I make a new track, I can go to Track Presets, Tony Presets, Bass Deep. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Bass Deep, boom, create, and it creates a new audio track like that. And I just have to set up my output. I'm sorry, a new instrument track, not audio track. And there you go. It's as easy as that. Super, super cool stuff. If I already have a track opened up, got a stereo track, I can right click on it and go to Recall Track Preset, Tony Presets, and then there's my bass deep, and it just pulls it up like that. So a couple ways you could do that, however you want to do it. Cool. All right. So now in the notes, it says that Pro Tools does not have this feature. That's because these notes actually were from last year. This feature is new. This feature is, I think, from this year. I think it's that new. It might be a little bit older than that, but it's a fairly newish feature. It's only a year or so old. So I actually have to change the notes there because it is a feature in Pro Tools now, and that's how you do it. You just right click and do it. And this is why you would do it. If you're working with the same vocalist repeatedly and you want to be able to recall their settings, create a new session, vocal presets, import or set up vocal tracks. And then without the audio as you would for the singers. And you can do it with or without the audio because you can always just save it now. All right, at the end of everything, when we're done with a session, we want to clean it up. We're going to go through and delete all the unused tracks, delete your unused playlists, and then clear out your unused clips. If you wanted to do that in here, let me open up. Let me see. Save this, close the session, open recent. Here, let me go in here to Rubadoo. Let's do this on Rubadoo. So if I go into Rubadoo and I just say, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want any of these things, and I just delete them. Now, they're still in my clips list. So I want to get rid of my clips list. What I can do is I go over here and I go to select unused. And now it selects all my unused stuff. Actually, let's do, yeah, that's fine. And I can remove these. Now it's actually selecting my whole audio files in here, which is, I don't want to remove those, but basically your options are like this. When you set it up, you can remove them, you can delete, you can move to the trash, whatever you want to do. Actually, let me just hold on. Go to show auto created. There we go. Now if I remove it, I hit remove. Only things that are in my session are going to end up here on the right-hand side. So only stuff that's actually in my session is going to be here on the right-hand side. Now, the reason why we want to use remove most of the time is because if you use any of the other options, you could potentially delete it from your hard drive, and that may be a problem. You may not want to do that quite yet. So move to trash moves the files from your audio folder to the trash. Delete immediately deletes it. Please don't use that unless you're 100% sure. Remove is the safest. Delete is the most destructive. So Command-Shift-U selects your unused clips. So let me just go ahead and close this out. Do not save. Let's open it up again. All right. So delete a couple things in here. Like that. All right. So if I go in here and I say Command-Shift-U, it selects my unused tracks. Here, let me just get the show auto created. Command-Shift-U, unused stuff like that. Why is it not selecting? It's selecting something different from before. That's interesting. Okay. So now, if I want to remove it, why is it? It's not showing much at all. Because it shouldn't be. Yeah. Okay. So Command-Shift-U, and then Command-Shift-B to remove it. And then here's your other options: delete, move to trash, remove. And if you hit delete, it's going to say, "Are you sure?" And I'm not going to do it because it's just. Yeah. So, are you sure? And you can do that. You can say yes if you're sure, but I'm not going to delete them right now because I never like to take that chance. So, my friend needs help. You prefer to ignore or to help, please. Charlie, is that somebody who you actually know, or is that somebody who needs to be ejected from the session? Should I eject them? It's like a Roman emperor. This or this? No. Don't execute me. Which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? All right, well, be careful. You're on thin ice. Cadillac respect, Tupac. Thin ice. All right. Yeah, I know. Suspicious, right? You're right there in the middle. You're right there in the middle. All right. So, save copy in. Now, save copy in. If I have a session and I've got the session, I want to make sure all the audio data comes with the session into somewhere else. This is what we've been talking about the whole time. I'm just going to give an explanation of this. We're going to go to File, Save Copy In, click on that. And now in here, Whoa. What does that even mean? Okay, you're getting booted. Sorry, buddy. I don't like when people talk about gay like that. Suspicious and gay are not in the same conversation unless a gay person is acting suspicious. Or if anybody was acting suspicious. All right, so items to copy, audio files. Want to copy the audio files, you want to definitely do that. Now, if you want to make sure that only the main playlist is going to get copied over, because sometimes, remember we talked about playlists, you got a whole bunch of stuff, so the main playlist, if we only want to copy the main playlist, then you can just click on this button here for main playlist only. So audio files, main playlist only. That'll get rid of all the extra stuff that you've recorded during your session. Now, if you want to make sure, if you want to keep your extra playlists, audio files from your extra playlists, then don't click this button. But Charlie's, somebody needs your help. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right. So click the main playlist button. If you only want to like bounce out certain tracks, you can do that. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to go over these. If you have any questions about these, you can ask me. But the main one you must make sure you press the button for is audio files. That is the main one. The other stuff, for intensive purposes here at school, you don't need to press these other ones. You don't need to worry about these over here. Interleaved, yes, you might want to press that button there. 24-bit. All this stuff like this. So just making it look like mine here, and you hit OK, and you tell it where you want it to put it. So I'm going to put it on my desktop, Rubadoo. There it is, and it will copy it over. If it doesn't do this part very fast, then if it does this part super fast, like faster than what it just did, if it just goes boop, it probably didn't copy a lot over. So be careful about that. Now what you want to do is you want to go over to your session where you put it and check your audio files and make sure everything looks good in here. You must double check. You must double check stuff. And I will be, yeah, I know, right? Way too early to be trolling people. Also, this is a place for learning about how to make beats, not a place for trolling. All right, so the audio files in here look good to me, so I'd be pretty good. Now, what I would even recommend doing is closing out the session here. Don't save. And then opening your new session that you just created and double checking to make sure everything loads up. You gotta make sure that everything loads up correctly, because if you don't and you send it over to somebody and it doesn't have the files in it or whatever, that's potential grounds for getting kicked out of a gig. It could be very serious. Now, obviously, if you send it to me like that, I'm just gonna smack your hand and be like, bad student, do it right. And by smack your hand, I mean leave a comment that is like, yo, you didn't do this. You didn't do a save copy in properly. So make sure you do save copy in properly, and yeah, everything will be skipping through daisies, which is what I like, or pandas chilling on a playground. Yep. All right. All right, keyboard focus mode. Somebody mentioned about this the other day, or maybe it was in the test. I know we talked about it in the test, but I think somebody did ask about it before. Keyboard focus mode, what it allows you to do is it allows you to use single key commands for things like zooming in and zooming out and stuff like that. I actually don't use keyboard focus mode in my edit window. I actually use it over here in my groups window. There's 3 places you can use keyboard focus mode: in the clips window over here on the right, in your main edit window, and also in your groups. The reason why I don't use it here in this main section, which is where a lot of people use it, is because I already have key commands for all that stuff. Command and C for copy and Command V to paste, stuff like that. What I like to do is I like to set up my groups down here on the left to use them with stuff. And let me just show you how I would do that. So I'm gonna get all my drums together here. Here's my drums, and I'm gonna group these together. Yes, that's the Staffo. That's exactly it. Yep. That's when you said RNT to Zoom. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna group these. I'm gonna call it drums, and just in my groups over here, I'm gonna go to my ID, and I'm gonna give this a D. D for drums. I'm gonna name the letter here for this one. D is the same letter as the first letter of my group name for drums. Now, you don't have to do it this way. This is just how I do it. You don't have to do this by any means. It's just, it makes your life a little bit easier down the road. Hit OK. Now I've got the drum group. Over here, I've got my guitars. Command G. And then AC guitars. Siri, nobody was talking to you. Back up. You chill. All right, so AC guitars. I'm going to A for AC guitars. And then bass guitar. I'm going to move these over to here so they're next to my drums. And I'm going to group them. Bass group. And ID is going to be B. Great. And we're just going to go through and do all this stuff here. So guitar solo, guitar lead, solo, this stuff here, the harmony. Yeah, so I'm going to have all this grouped together as well. Guitar, solo, or lead. And I'm going to call this one G for guitar. Obviously, if you have multiple groups of like guitars and rhythm guitars and stuff like that, you have to figure out how you want to do it, but that's up to you. So our verse vocals, verse. So we got the verse, the vocals, bridge, chorus, all that stuff. So in here, group it, and I'm just gonna name these first ones the vocal, verse. The shortcut is Command G. Vocal verse, I'm gonna give this one a V for vocals. And actually, let's just put them all in there. So what happens if I don't put the right ones in? So what I can do here is, let's call this one vocals for V, V for vocals. Hit OK. Now I want to add more in. Let's say I'm like, oh, you know what? I didn't add enough in. So I'm going to right click on my group, and that's either going to be over here on the left. I can right click on it and go to modify, or I can right click it right here. Oh wait, I'm not right click, so I just regular click it and go to modify, and I can add in all the extra stuff that I missed. So the bridge, vocals, yeah. Boop, blam. Okay, so that's how that can work there. I can add in the stuff later on by hitting modify and then adding in the ones that I want to add in. So there we go. So now what these groups allow me to do is it allows me to take one fader and move all the faders, which is pretty cool. If I turn the groups off down here, now I'm just controlling one fader. If I turn the groups on, now I'm controlling all the faders. Now, and this is where our shortcut, our keyboard focus mode comes in, because I labeled them with the letters here. Those are the letters I can use on my keyboard to turn those groups on and off. So D for drums, A for acoustic guitars, B for bass, G for guitar lead, and V for vocals. Will allow me to turn those on and off really, really quick. So I can easily, I can leave them off most of the time, and then I'm like, oh, I want to move all my drums at the same time, so I can turn them on like this. These also allow you to edit multiple tracks at the same time, so I can edit all my tracks like that. So that's more useful for me than having keyboard focus mode turned on in my edit window, because, like, for example, Zoom, command brackets, like that, and I can, just remember you've got a command key on both sides of your keyboard, or control if you're using Windows. Okay, so that's keyboard focus mode. And that's all we need to talk about with it. Here's some shortcuts for you in here: copy, paste, cut, undo. If you want to use it, I don't really care one way or the other if you decide to use it or not. It's not something that it's not going to be on test. I'm not going to take points off for it, or judge you or anything like that. I might judge you a little bit, actually. Yeah, there will be a little bit of judgment, but not that much judgment. And that pretty much brings us to the end here of this stuff. I want to talk about some of this stuff a little bit more in Zoom. We don't need to talk about it right now, though. Here, let me go ahead and stop the